The Logitech G502 Hero is a fairly good mouse that was released in October of 2018. Me personally, I've had my Logitech G502 Hero for about 6 months now, so I feel like I can write a review on it. In my personal experience, the Logitech G502 Hero has been a pretty good mouse so far. Even though it's a solid mouse, just still a few pros and cons I could point out. After I talk about the pros and cons, I'm gonna compare to the Steel Serier Rival 3. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with the pros. Number 1. Buttons and macros. There are many buttons on the Logitech G502 Hero. To be exact, there are 11 programmable buttons in the Logitech G502 Hero. 11 buttons are quite a lot, as most mice don't even have any side buttons, or maybe they'll have 2 or 3. Okay, so now I would like to talk about durability. Mouse feels pretty good and durable. I just have one thing to say. Switches on the mouse are known to break after a while, so I'll get to that later. Okay, so now let's talk about RGB. The RGB on the mouse is pretty good, and you can change different effects and colors on the app. There are 2 primary places where there's RGB. Number 1 is a logo, and number 2, second one are like some bars, and they also glow in RGB. Basically, the bars light up because in the app there's 4 settings for DPI. There are 3 bars, so each bar lights up for 1 setting, and then say it's 4, then it's weird. One that it's on 4, basically what happened is the 3rd one lights up completely while the other one a bit faint. Okay, now let's talk about the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel itself is pretty good, but it also has a button to unlock the scroll wheel so it can spin infinitely. Not actually infinitely, but like it can scroll for really long. Okay, now let's talk about the comfort of the mouse. The mouse is pretty comfortable if you're right-handed and your hand is anywhere from medium to large. If you have small hands, it's not for you. Might not be able to use it if you have a left hand because of the shape of the mouse. Say your hand fits the category, it's pretty durable, and the thumb rest is also pretty comfortable. Now the pros are done, now it's on to the cons. The first con I would like to talk about are the switches. Well, the rest of the mouse is pretty good. The switches are pretty lackluster. Well, I haven't experienced it. I've heard a lot of people's switches start to double click, which nobody really wants. But luckily there are many tutorials online that explain how to switch your switches, and switches only cost about $15. The switches are $15 for a pair where I live. I live in Canada. Say that the switches break, you'll also need to replace the fee, as you need to take off the feet to replace the switches. The fee also costs about $15 where I live. When total it would cost $30 to switch the switches. For $30 you could buy a new Steel Serier Rival 3. Now I'm going to talk about the weight. While the weight isn't a problem for me, the weight's a problem for some people. The mouse comes with adjustable weight, so if you don't put any weight in it, it's 121 grams. And if you pull the weight in, it's going to be 168 grams. For me personally, it's not really a problem about the weight. Now I'm going to talk about the shape. Say that your hand is a left-handed and you have a small hand. You cannot use the mouse. Okay, now it's under the software. The software is pretty bad, and sometimes it glitches and stuff. It's hard to use. Hey, now I'm done with the cons. Let's now compare with the Steel Serier Rival 3. I love the Steel Serier Rival 3 is $30, while the Logitech G502 Hero is $60. That's a difference of $30, and they perform pretty similar. Steel Serier Rival 3 is pretty good for almost any hand unless your hand's really big. While only a certain amount of people can use the Logitech G502 Hero. It even performs well at certain games, like the Steel Serier Rival 3 is pretty light, so it performs good at FPS games. While the Logitech G502 Hero is good for MMO type games because MMO games you play for a long time, and the Logitech G502 Hero is pretty comfortable. The MMO games, you have a lot of attacks, and with all the buttons, you can put each for attack. Okay, now it's the final verdict. I'd say that you'd probably be better buying the Steel Serier Rival 3, as it can perform as well, and it's like $30 cheaper, so it's a pretty good deal. Please like and subscribe, and please comment down below if I made any mistakes, as I'm pretty new.